Right, without any further ado, let me introduce to you our band or artists that are here today, Natural Mystics. Welcome, Natural Mystics. Welcome to the Windrush GLA.
Hi everybody. Greetings. It's a real honour to be here. It's very rare that our British reggae bands get the recognition that we're entitled to, because we've done so much for the local music scene, and it's good to be here, and we thank you for being here. We also want to Natural Mystics want to send our condolences to Junior English family and friends, and we hope that we'll be able to answer more of your questions that we can, and let's hope you have a good time. But we thank you for being here and allowing us to be here. It's very rare that you get to see like Investigators, Tradition, Janet Kay, Sandra Cross, and all these people that we hear on the record all the time. So it's good like we can meet everybody, because we don't really get, you can pass us in the street and never know us. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have the recognition that we get, and we thank you, Colin, for doing this, and everybody for being here.
You're absolutely welcome, absolutely welcome. It's an honour to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're...
Oh, lovely.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hi, I think we're just introducing ourselves. Sorry, excuse us for the technicalities. Colin's doing his best. You okay, Colin? Okay, yeah. Chevi is the bass player in the band. And next to me is Dexter, or known as Rob. He's a drummer. Apologies for, there was 6 of us. In fact, over the years there's more than that, but there's been around a regular period, 6 of us, half a dozen of us in the band. Unfortunately, we couldn't get everybody else here today, and we're hoping in the future. We are planning some things. We've got some things planned in the pipeline, and we're hoping that you'll get to see other members of the band as we go along with that. It'll be okay, because Junior English was somebody, if I touch anyone wrong, that we didn't get to work with him, but we knew him, sorry about that, we knew him as a member artist in the business, so I thought maybe fitting if we just took a moment, 30 seconds of just silence for Junior English, if that's okay. Yeah, fine. A minute now, somebody tell me. We're about 10 seconds left. I think that's about a minute, is it? Okay, alright, thank you. Yes, enough respect once again to Junior English and for his contribution to the music in the UK. Colin, where would you like to start with us? Yeah. How are you doing with those mics?
Let me just see if I can turn this the other way.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I'm good. Are yours?
Let's see. 1 2 check. Yes.
Yes.
I think we're nearly there. Just slightly.
I should have said, I'm Dexter Robert Lindo, the drummer, and this is Chev Tantan Mastin, the bass player. So what you have is drum and bass. Right here.
Yes.
The roots.
Yeah, the roots.
Yeah, let's give that a try. Okay, we're going to be seated now, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you.
They've introduced themselves. Can we have a round of applause? Check 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
better there, Colin.
Great. Okay. Okay, so if I can just get you in turn. Before I do that, actually, some of you just arrived, so let me just reintroduce myself again. So my name is Colin Brown. I'm the curator of the Lovers Rock, or 1970s Lovers Rock UK exhibition. And we're here until the end of April. Each Saturday we do a meet and greet, and today's no exception. We've got Natural Mystic here today, and that's who we're talking to right now. So, so if I could just get you in turn to tell us your name, where your parents were born, and then where you're from.
Well, my name, as I just told you, is Dexter Robert Lindo. I was actually born in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. Came over in 1962 when the weather was cold. And we used to live in a room like that in Kilburn many years ago. And my parents, obviously, are from Jamaica. And I lived in Kilburn for most of my life, and then moved up to Wembley, where we lived in a place, housing estate called Shawkill. I don't know if any of you ever heard of it. And that's where we grew up and where the band was formed.
Yes, okay, again, I'm Chevi. And I was born here. I have lived in Jamaica. My parents are from Jamaica as well. Although where I've got members who's from other places in the Caribbean in the band. I grew up in a Paddington area. I don't know if anybody knows Paddington. Make some noise if you do. Okay, yeah.
From that area. That's not.
Sorry?
They're not making no noise because they're not from that area.
Yes. Okay, all right. Well, at least we got some support here. Yeah. So Paddington, yes. Okay, all right. That's good. Yes. Maybe we can have a chat later. Yes. Anyway, yes. So Paddington, Kilburn. I've spent a lot of time moving around northwest London. Although those are the areas I lived in, I grew up amongst Wembley. Me and Dexter, we like family really, because we grew up very close from very young, and I used to spend a lot of time up by him, which was where the band.
His mum used to look after me when I was a little boy like that.
Yes, and his mom done the same for me. Oh gosh, it was great, you know, how we grew up. And I used to, as I said, spend a lot of time up on him, which is, as he said, how the band started and how I got involved in the band. Between moving up the band, I used to play music in Paddington as well, but it was more just trying to get myself together, really. Although I played the bass guitar, I actually started off wanting to play keyboards. That was my interest. But moving around with Dexter, long story short, how can I put this? It was when the band needed a bass player, and I thought, okay, ideally I want to play keyboards at the time, but I would give playing the bass guitar a chance.
I'm going to get you to slow your roll.
Oh, okay, all right. You want to
slow your roll, because I've got a series of questions.
Oh, okay. Okay, Colin.
That I need you to answer.
Yeah.
So, I might sound dull now.
We can share.
Check 1 2. Yeah. So, just want to go back to when you were young.
Yeah.
Just tell us about the vibe in your individual households. What music was playing, that type of thing. Set the scene, yes?
Well, my dad was playing the old ska and everything, and your blue beat radiogram used to play all the time. Sunday morning was Jim Reeves. I know you guys remember Jim Reeves. Jim Reeves, every Sunday morning, Jim Reeves would be playing, and we have to listen to it. We ain't got a choice. You know? In them days, you couldn't say, put on some brother. You couldn't. Your parents played it. So my dad comes from a musical family background. My name is Lindo, he's Lindo. His brother was the keyboard player in the Wailers, Earl Wire Lindo. Yeah, and I think the guitarist, Willie Lindo, is a distant relative as well. So it was always in my background. So music has always been there for me.
Yeah, wow.
You know, my dad at 90 now, he was a DJ in a club in Constantine in Wilson until they knocked it down.
Whoa.
So he continued playing music for ages. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, wow. Wow, strong connections there. Wow, you got a big act to follow.
Yes, well, I'll try. Well, my dad didn't have, was it blue spots, as they call it? We had a Deca. No, the grams. It was a Deca gram I had. And a Deca. Was it Deca? Is that had the, is it the concertina doors you opened and closed? Yes. Anyway, one thing that my dad, he had a lot of blue beat records, and we used to get a lot of the Scatterlights and as you said, Jim Reeves. We got the Jim Reeves and that. Yes, and I would be, when I got a chance, my dad would let me play records on there while he used to make buns. And remember, you get the Jamaican buns, as they call it. At that time, my dad used to make them. You couldn't buy them in the shops. You can buy them now.
Yeah.
But now my dad used to make them.
Really?
Yes, my dad used to make them on a Sunday, especially Easter.
Okay.
And then people used to come around and buy buns from my dad, and you know, and they give out as well. Yeah, so that's what he used to do.
Did he pass that skill on to you? Did you?
Well, funny enough,
No.
he did show me what to do, but up to now, I'm still trying to get around making a bun. I prefer just generally cooking. You know,
Okay.
just cooking.
He's a good cook. I'll give him that. Yeah, make a mean hot curry.
Okay.
Well, I try.
Okay.
I try.
So what
Can I just say, my dad done something that I never forgot. As I said, we didn't have a blues spot, which was really good for quality playing of the music as a Deca. And one day I wondered what my dad was, because the speaker, it was one speaker underneath the ground.
Yes.
And sorry, I dropped the thanks there, Dex. Yeah, and what my dad done, he showed me. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing in his earlier days, because he didn't say a lot about it. But he took the speaker out underneath. Took the. Do you remember the little metal bins? Used to have little dustbins people used to have in their rooms. These little metal bins. He took that out and got some polystyrene and put the speaker the other way around in the bin with the polystyrene at the back. I mean, they do it now with these speakers where, the speakers are placed in the opposite way in the box. And he done this. And it was surprising to hear the bass that came out. Yes, the bass sound he managed to create by doing that. And that never left me.
Innovative.
Yes, so them days,
Wow.
And I tried to do things on a similar, in a same creative way since then.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's never left me, He's sadly passed away now, but there's one of the things I remember.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'll get you to do, so we talked about the members of the band, so we know who you are, but we've got the picture, this is your picture that we got you on the back wall there.
Okay, yes, I can see it, yes.
Yeah, so if you just tell us who's who, if you just come and point them out.
Alright, yes, at the top, sorry. Okay, alright, where we start? At the front here we've got Ashley Summers, he's the lead guitarist. in band, but he also plays keyboards. He can play keyboards, and he also does vocals and lead vocals, backing vocals, lead vocals, BV, as they say. The song we most had success with is this is Jimmy Lawrence, who sung the song. That's him, which is called Runaway Love. That's Jimmy Lawrence. He was lead vocals. He's no longer with us in the band, but we do keep him in touch. And then behind him is a rhythm guitarist, Otis Leroy Denton. Behind that person is the keyboard player, and that's Denfield. We call him Augie. Denfield Nisbet, and he's a keyboard player. His nickname is Augie. And then, of course, we've got next to me here is the drummer, and that's Dexter.
He's got a lot of hair?
Yeah. Well, Robbie, you say. And then finally myself at the back there, I'm the bass player again, and that's Chevi.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the line.
Is it him that came up to BBMC?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, he came up to the first exhibition.
Yes, that's right.
With his wife,
Yeah, unfortunately he couldn't make it today, but yeah, that's right. Yes, remember, yes. So that's Jimmy. Yeah, he's the one on, he's the voice on Runaway Love.
Okay, Runaway Love. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Okay. And we've got another singer who's not here anymore, but maybe as we go along.
Yeah,
It's
actually,
just
because you augmented the original, the list that was sent to me.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
and
okay.
how the band, how the band evolved.
Yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
we'll
We'll go through
the
that.
singers. Yes, okay then.
All right, so here's the questions you prepared for me. Okay, so the beginnings of the group you've just really told us about. Is there anything more about that you want to say? Because I think you went through a number of phases. The group went through a number of phases.
Well, originally as, I don't know, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, we were on the housing estate, running around and everything. And then two of the members, the guitarist, had a guitar. And
the rhythm guitarist, that's Leroy.
And then there was another member, the bass player before him. He had a bass player, and I was always
Derek.
Derek, yeah. I was always interested in banging a few things. So one day we went into my bedroom, and I had a little waste paper bin, and we turned it over, and I beat out some kind of beat, and these guys put together some kind of rhythm, and that's where we started. Three of us. 3 people, at about 14, 15-year-old, and we just developed from there. I knew Chev all my life from a little boy, and he used to come up to talk all the time because it was boring in Kilburn. So he used to come up and we used to play, and then Derek left, so Chev took over and started to play. Then he brought in Ashley because they went to school together, and we slowly started together, and then we used to rehearse in Chalk Hill Club every Friday night, and the local group and youth used to come and listen to us, and we were very popular, and we moved on from there. And then
Before I just want to know how you got from a waste paper basket playing on that to proper instruments. Well,
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
I used to be
well, I mean, what we used to do is try to have a kitty, wasn't it? We saved up money and try to put money in every week into our kitty until we can start to buy equipment, which we did do. And you got your drum kit. Drum kit.
Yeah.
Well, that was great when you had.
Drums are noisy.
Very,
So tell us,
good neighbours.
Yeah, and family supportive in that way.
Yeah, mum and dad, our parents were, because we were so young, our parents would go with us everywhere.
Yeah.
Whenever we used to play at remember All Nations?
Yeah.
Our mum and dad would come with us, and to make sure that we were safe.
Right.
Because we were so young, And even when we played in Wales, Cardiff.
Okay.
And all our parents would come, So it was always a family occasion, which is why we're kind of still together now, because it's more than just the music.
Yeah,
you know, we will speak to each other outside of music, and you know, we know each other's families, you know, brothers and sisters and everything. I think some of them will turn up today even, come and support us. But that's why they gave us the money. We wasn't the type that were running around in the street. We always had money coming from our parents. So my mother, particularly, bought me the first kit. Okay. And Chev's father bought me the guitar, although I think he borrowed Derek's guitar initially, which is still old. He still owes Derek the guitar.
No,
he keeps
on his back.
Yes. Yeah. So that's how we started.
Yeah.
It's all about revelation.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Warts and all comes out in this room.
Yeah.
These people will tell you.
Yeah, speaking about, you mentioned gigs, didn't you, Dex? The first actual gig, when we done school, in terms of playing live, we played in school, isn't it? But can I just say, before you say it, the first official, if we can call it that, a gig we done was, people remember the Apollo in Willesden? Right, that was our official gig, and we were support act to Owen Gray.
Oh, wow.
That was our first, I can't remember what year that was, but that was our first official gig, and we were support act to Owen Gray, which went down good. And he came in personally after when we came off and gave us words of encouragement. He was quite pleased with, he was quite impressed with our performance and gave us some words of encouragement. We never did get round to actually doing recording with him, but which we did with other people, you know. But we made the best of that encouragement anyway.
Yeah, excellent. So, how did you get to choose the name of the band?
What actually happened? We actually were named the Mystics, and then there was a band, I think, in
the Majestics.
The Majestics. Sorry, I apologise. Yeah. The Majestics. But there was another band called the Majestics, and they were upset that we were taking away their limelight and asked us to change our name. So Chev was looking through all sorts of things, and then he saw the Bob Marley Exodus album and saw the name Natural Mystic and the meaning behind it, and he thought, well, why don't we name ourselves that? And that's where the name comes from.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Not even my mum knows that.
You know what? When you put Natural Mystic in for Google, it is Bob Marley. I'm looking for you guys, and it's just Bob Marley that comes up.
That does give us problem with the web pages, you know.
Right. So releases. Well, you just talked about recording. So let's get into releasing. How did you get into that recording situation? How did you find someone that obviously you're good enough now, you're on the circuit, you want to release a record? Tell us how you got to that stage.
The guitarist Ashley Summers, he had an uncle that used to support us, and he said he gave us some money to do recording, and we used to go to studios and record. We used to go to studios and record, and actually he gave us the money to record Runaway Love in Gooseberry Studios, and that's where we first recorded it, and it was engineered by Dennis Bovell as our very first single. At the time, we didn't really know that Runaway Love would be such a success. You know, we actually wanted to put Runaway Love out as a follow-up to the B-side of Runaway Love, which happened to be a song called In the Mood, which was still quite a good song. But so we actually thought Runaway Love would be a good follow-up to In the Mood, but it turned out that the record company we signed with, Ethnic Fight, decided that we should put Runaway Love out first and put In the Mood at the B-side, or a double A, as they called it. and that's how we started. And then from then we just went on and did Let's Get Together, I think was the
Well,
next
can I say a bit more? Yeah, so anyway, just on Runway Love, as Dexter said, we thought the flip side, which was called I'm in the Mood, we thought we were more keen on that. Mainly because at the time, around about time, the music flavour was the rockers beat. And we were into that, you know, especially as when we were playing live, we all felt that rockers beat when, especially when Dexter was playing, and I think that's largely why we were more keen on that side, you know, I'm in the Mood, to be the track. Anyway, it did go on, we didn't expect it to do, but it went on, as you said, it went on to Ethnic Fight label, we signed up with them, it went up to do really well, and then a company called Laser Records, which is part of the Warner Brothers group, approached Ethnic Fight and said they were interested in the song and they wanted to sign up, and so we signed up with them, and it went on to started to climb and do big things, which was good because at around about those times, this now was the end of the 70s, really, I mean we really got into the swing of the things in the 80s, and we began professionally recording at the end of the 70s. And this, as I said, this is where the record took off and started to do things. Sorry, there's another point I want to make.
Let me just play the track so we can know what you're talking about, and then I'm going to actually finish with this. But I'm just going to give the listener, the audience, a taste of this the first real single. Big tune. So you're gonna. Is this picture here? Is it the same? Or is everyone the same? Or from the other?
Yes,
it's the
same lineup. Yeah.
Same lineup. Okay.
Yeah, except Sydney comes into this one. He's right at the back there with the black bow tie and the chain.
Well, if you can go through the names again, because different order now. So
yes, different order. So that's myself again, bass player Chev, keyboard player Denny, Ashley lead guitarist, also keyboard and vocals, rhythm guitarist Otis, then Leroy. Now Sydney, that's where the singer changed again. The very first record you played, Groove Rockin', which was our next chart shoot after Runaway Love. We had stayed out of the charts for a while, and the next tune that took us into the charts was the first one you played, which was called Groove Rockin'. And that was Sydney singing that one. Sydney, we called him Tennant, that was his nickname, Tennant. Because there's a reason why I would say And then of course, next on my left here is the drummer Dexter.
With a moustache.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see the similarity. Maybe it's because you've got the glasses on.
Yeah.
And the afro. Maybe that's the two different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my alter ego.
So that's the lineup. Yeah, so...
One minute, come on, you can't just pass on.
Yeah,
We've got to comment on the fashion, what's going on, you know, come on.
Oh, okay, all right.
That was our attempt to be different.
Yes, can I start? This was all part of marketing the group at the time with the company, and we were starting to climb the commercial ladder as well with Runaway Love. So the idea was to try to find something different for the group. So we experimented with clothes, because actually bow ties was the thing. We tried to feature the bow tie on our outfits every time we go, which worked for us, because at that time a lot of people didn't know the name of the band, and they used to say, "Oh, it's those guys with the bow tie." That's what people said, and that alone made people know who we were, or who they were talking about in the music. So the bow tie thing was to our advantage. You want to say something to that?
Yeah, I remember when. Have you guys remember Black Echoes?
Yeah.
Then we went to a Black Echoes show, and I think we opened the show because we were young. And everybody thought, who's this little band with bow tie and everything like that? But they're not too bad, you know. And then they called us back the next year. I mean, at that time, Adler just cleaned up everything. Best album, best musician. But we had a good time, you know. We were very good live.
Yes.
I mean, live, we were very good. If anybody ever came and saw us, we never forgot.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't think so great recording. We had a couple of albums and 2 good singles. But live was really where you would see us.
Couple of albums, and you don't think we did a lot? Listen, some people just have one tune enough. I'm not carrying them short.
Yeah, well, yes, I see you're right. I mean, it did take us on tour, because we toured France and Belgium, as well as doing the UK.
That was a story.
Yes, that was some stories out there.
Yeah, and I must say, your album is rare. Can't get it.
Yes.
We can't get it either.
Can't get it. That's worth of money.
Yeah.
That's worth of money. Probably not even you can afford it.
No. Yeah. So
seriously,
yes.
I don't know if you guys know that some of these records of vinyl that you've got in your loft or whatever, it's worth a lot of money. The fact that we can't get hold of yours, that means it's got probably 400 or 500, if not more, pounds for the album. Seriously.
I'm a broke.
Yeah.
Well, we are.
Just giving you an idea of the value of what you've got in your yard. Some of that stuff is worth a lot of money. Seriously, the reggae music that people were scoring back in the day, a lot of it. If you can't get it, if it's rare, collectors want those things. They want it and will pay money. And I have paid money for some of them in here.
Yes, you're quite collecting stuff.
So I told the collectors since I started this thing. Yeah, money. Oh, you buy money, I go. So I know the value of the thing now, but so you mentioned about I'm not sure that the audience may or may not have made that connection. We're not talking about, when you say you climbed the chart, so because you were signed Laser licensed the track from Ethnic Fight, that means you were heading into the pop domain. Because when Laser had that connection where they could get reggae tracks into the pop chart, so from that, and many of the groups that you've seen on top of the pops, the reggae groups, that was the path that they trod, in terms of they were on an independent label first, and then either got onto a major or a larger independent label that had the power, the clout to get you into into the national charts. So you were do you know how far in the national charts you go?
Lower region.
It was the lower regions, although there's a bit of a story behind that, can I say? Anyway, a bit sad, but I mean, the good thing about those days with them is that these commercial companies was interested in pushing reggae into the charts, and we did have quite a number of reggae tracks, UK tracks in particular, climbing into the charts, but we had a bit of a unfortunate situation, because we were they started preparing us. We done the photo shoots. They started preparing us well. We started getting the record played on these commercial outlets. I remember those days we didn't have a lot of reggae outlets, isn't it? Well, maybe one or two at best. They started preparing us, and suddenly things stopped. We wondered, well, what's going on? Anyway, when we looked into the situation, there was a dispute between Ethnic Fight and Laser Records, which is part of the Warner Brothers group, and they weren't happy. According to them, the allegation was that Ethnic Fight was still selling records on their label whilst this track was signed to them, and that became a big dispute. We got caught in the middle of that, and suddenly things stopped. So who knows where we may have been in the national charts? You know?
Yeah. Because I mean, what year was that around?
That was around 79, 80.
Right. So 79. Okay. So that was the year of Janet Kay getting into the charts.
Yes.
On top of the pops.
She paved the way.
Yeah. But I'm giving you the timeline here.
Yes.
79.
Yeah, we were.
79. Storm. Went into was on top of the pops as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a few groups. 79 was a big year.
Yes, it was.
Matumbi as well. 79 with a Point of View on top of the pops.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm just saying what you missed out on was big because you know a lot of us were going through the gate at that time.
Exactly. That's why I paused for thought, because it was, you know, when it come back, it is hurtful that, you know, it didn't happen. And funny, just touching on it, we were in the studio and listening to, you know, Silly Games being recorded. We were in the studio at the time and we're listening to the recordings of that, you know, before it was released in the studio.
We knew that would be definitely.
And we knew that would be big when we were listening. Same with the OK Fred. You remember OK Fred?
OK Fred.
We were in the studio when that was being recorded, listening to that.
Okay. Yeah. So the connection there is Dennis Bogle was the producer on Runaway Love?
Well, he was the engineer.
He was the engineer on Runaway Love?
Yeah, we're basically producing ourselves with the help of...
Goodsbury, you said?
Yeah, Goodsbury Studio, which at that time was probably the place to be. You know, everybody wanted to get in because Dennis was a difficult... In fact, we were lucky to get him at the time because he was such a difficult man. He was so great at what he'd done. Everybody wanted to work with him and there was just a long list. But we were lucky to get in with him at the time. After that, because of that, as I said, waiting and the long list, we didn't get to work with him after that. But we worked with Mark, his partner, on the studio.
We're just talking about the charts and the missed opportunities, as I was saying. Part of doing this and getting the chronology, if I can get it out of my mouth, the chronology of everything is just to see the timeline when certain things happen. You know, so as I said, you had Storm that year in terms of appearing on top of the pops. You had Storm, you had Matumbi, Janet Kay, Naya Love, was that 79 as well? Steel Pulse, I think that was 79 as well, along with Bob Marley in 79. But
we actually performed. We were actually on the bill at a show round about that time with Storm. So we were on the same bill and performed together on the same bill with Storm.
Do you know the members of Storm?
Yes, we haven't seen them for ages now, but yes, we did.
I'm trying to track them down.
Let me see what I can do if I can get hold of them. Leave that with me and I'll see if I can do anything. Okay. Yes, we're trying to get hold of them. That would be a good man too.
The whole part of this thing. So that's why I'm so pleased that we honour Junior before he's passed. So the idea is to give people flowers while they're alive and not wait till they pass before we start recognising people. So,
of course.
You know.
Can I just say at this moment here, it's a great thing, Colin, you know, that we're talking about Midon, because this really is the first platform really where we've had in terms of media, as we know it, where people talk about the bands or able to talk, because over the years we've not really had anything. We've had bands in particular, you know, you talk about, you know, particular bands and their success, but in general to talk about the history of what bands, and the bands was key to starting this music off. Many of the leading vocalists that you hear today came through bands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And bands, the bands really was so influential because it also made it come about when there was a lot more to write about, you know, with the bands and what the band's done and how interesting things could be, you know. And I think that's been lacking in the business, you know.
Absolutely.
Not so,
Absolutely.
you know, not having that, not having.
No, that's a key part of this, and what we try to do is show people that there's more than just the usual names that you hear. Most of us know the music, lots of more music than the people that are presented to us by, I call it lazy journalism, where they don't reach out to other artists and musicians. So what the point of this exhibition is to say there are more artists and musicians out there than that we're continuously fed on a daily basis by popular stations or popular promoters or whatever. There was a lot more people in this scene. So really, I'm pleased that you guys have, you know, made the connection and are here to share your story and your journey with us.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep it going because after the ethnic fight situation and with Laser, what happened then?
We then joined Starlight Records.
Yeah, yes, we had a bit of a break. Wondering where to go from
We
there.
did a couple of things on our own label.
Yes,
We
yeah,
created our own
yes. We had
You created your own label?
Yeah, yes.
Well, it was called Negative Ones. And
That was
Jimmy's
uncle.
Jimmy's uncle, Jimmy, yeah. And then we
used a few recordings.
and then we did
We wanted to do our own label, which we
Positive
started. That was Mixed Down.
Oh, right.
Records. Mixed Down, which is our label we ran for a while, but we did go on to Positive, which we recorded My Sweet Girl with.
My Sweet Girl.
Yeah, I think that was a track.
That's my cue. This is the tune that I bought in the shop of yours.
Okay.
That I like, that you guys, for some reason, people avoid this tune. That's why I said, yeah, I mean, I'll talk about My Sweet Girl. And that's the one in my box when we used to play regular.
Yeah.
So, was it recorded, you say, on a different label from...
Yes, this was one of those ones we done in between, which we done this for, Jimmy, which was the voice on Runaway Love, his dad had a label, which it was almost a part-time sort of operation he was running, and we, as I said, after the big disappointment, we were just trying to find our feet again, and he said, okay, how about doing something on his label? Okay. And that's what this track I think you're about to play is what we came up with.
Sweet girl.
Let's hear it for National Whiskey.
Alright, thank you again.
Yeah.
Colin, I was trying to, maybe I might be able to get a member of our public here might be able to help me. The studio that was recorded that was popular was in Camden Town.
Okay.
Remember,
Opposite Roundhouse.
Okay.
Where we recorded
I can't
this.
help you that.
Does anybody
Not
know
my
anything
ends.
about studios? Yeah, I think somebody at the back. No? Oh.
Where, what's your hand, where?
Yeah.
Where behind? That's the hand we see.
Okay. Well, if it comes back to me, I'll be glad to
Yeah.
share it at the rooftop.
Yeah, so that I purchased in Dub Vendor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't bring that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
that
I'm not
was
sure.
Junction.
I'm not sure if they had the shop then, because Dub Vendor used to be in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when like Breeze Up Law, because they like tarpaulin over the covering of thing,
Yeah.
we're all holding we're holding the store,
holding the store
we're holding the store together in Clapham Junction. When they bought the shop, we were like, it was our shop. We felt like we bought that shop with John them.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Nice one.
you went on to talk. You were talking about bands and what did you do as a band? Did you do backing for other artists or?
We didn't do a lot, but we did. I think we did Janet K once at Wembley Conference Centre years ago. I mean, it's not there now anymore. We did. We can have Andy, Bob Andy. We did Bob Andy.
Also, Alton Ellis.
Alton Ellis.
We've done some shows with Alton Ellis.
Eka Mouse, you remember Eka Mouse?
Yeah.
We did Eka Mouse. We did University Tour around Bournemouth and the South Coast.
Okay, so you're on the uni circuit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we've done the uni circuit. Yeah,
Okay.
the Beacon Mouse.
That was interesting.
I'm sure. What is it? What happens on the tour stays on the tour.
Yes.
Those rules apply. I know.
He was quite a character.
Still a character.
He likes to dress up, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. It's funny just one quick funny experience in there, because doing the uni, they loved the sort of rootsy reggae, and when we, as I said, our image was one of the more cabaret, and when we often go on stage, people thought, well, what do we expect from them,
Yeah.
And then when we drop these heavy bass line, because I used to have I used to have these big giant combos. For my back line, and each of them I had like 4 of them with 15-inch 15-inch speakers, and each of them on the back, so I made sure that the bass was very powerful, and then we had drummy, coming in through that as well. So we got a very rootsy sound, very deep sound in our performance, and people were quite impressed because our image didn't suit, that what came out, So that is the humour us, when we surprise people.
And added to that a little story. I don't know if you remember Castro Brown. Castro Brown, when we recorded Runaway Love.
Oh, just before you say, sorry, Dennis Brown we met as well, but we didn't get around to recording with him.
Okay.
And also Louisa Mark, we didn't get around to recording too. These all were in the making,
Yeah.
But we did do Paulette Walker, didn't we?
Yeah.
Paulette Walker, yeah. And,
what happened? We went to record Runaway Love, and at the time we were still young. We were like 17, 18, and we couldn't get into the studio. So Castro Brown came along, and see, we were young. As I said, our parents used to come with us, so there was no smoking, there was no drinking like that. And so Castro said, "You have any Rizla on you?" And we looked at you. Everybody went like this. He said, "No, we haven't." So I said, "What kind of band are you? Christian music you playing?" He said, "If they don't see clouds when I come in the studio, no music I go on."
What?
And we were just standing there with our hands in our pockets, thinking, "Who's this geezer?"
Castro
Brown.
That was Castro Brown.
We had 15, 16 and 17 a couple of weeks ago. So
okay, yes.
Christine.
Yes, still 15, 16, 17.
Well, no, she told us her age. I think she said 62, 63, something like that. Yeah. But what did Christine say? My mother never liked Castro.
Worries.
Cashier was a character.
He was a character. I mean, because I used to buy from his shop. So I think what was it? He was one of the first people to be driving a car with a phone in it. So built-in phone.
Must be those big battery ones.
You know them big phones that was installed in the car back in the day. Yeah. Okay, so European tours. You mentioned Wales, so that's the UK, obviously.
Yeah.
So you went on tour outside of the UK.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
went to, we toured Europe, Belgium and France in particular. But that was in the days when it wasn't a common market. So we went and we got stopped by the police.
Okay.
And our manager at the time who owned Ethnic Fight didn't have the proper correct papers.
Okay.
What they call a colony. And so I don't know why the police stopped us, but black people in a van, in Belgium. So they looked in and saw all this equipment. I said, what's that? I said, oh, we're on tour. So where's your documents? What documents? Ethnic Fight hadn't got them. They thought we could just go through. Come on, mate, down the station. And we were playing that night, and they took the rhythm player, Otis, and Larry, who was our manager at the time, to the police station. And we were waiting at the venue for about 2 hours. The show had to be delayed until the promoter went and released them from the police station. And one of the things, again, because we were young, we grew up in a West Indian background. So on the ferry over, we ordered something to eat. We ordered steak and chips. How would you like to steak done? Well done, we said, well done. When it come, we looked at it, blood coming out, said, no, take that back. Third time we come back, second time come, third time, still we said, no, take that back. So by the time the fourth time had come, he gave us well done. You could break the plate with a steak, because he must say, these people, because chefs don't like you to have steak well done. It's supposed to be medium rare. But we didn't understand that. All we knew, rice and peas, chicken, corridor, everything is well cooked, And that was an experience.
Yeah.
And then we got to the venue, and then we had spaghetti bolognese. We don't eat spaghetti bolognese. We only eat is chicken and corridor. Yeah. Spaghetti bolognese. And then they had this Parmesan cheese on the top, which smelled a bit funny. And we looked at each other and said, what's this? It smells like vomit. Take that back. And we just said, we sent everything back, except one member. Yeah. And he got ribbed. To this day, we say, remember you eat spaghetti? You're the one.
The culprit.
Yeah. But anytime there are arguments, we wouldn't call that.
But saying that we've done really well with the shows out there, they really appreciate the music in Europe.
Yeah.
And there's one night we played, I think it was the very last night or something, and they called us. You do these on-call, you do your on-call. They called us back about 4 times, and we were just sweating. We were pouring with sweat. We took our shirts off. You could wring it out. That's how much we had put into it. It was really. Give us
an idea. What sort of year? What year?
That would be early
80s. Yeah, early 80s. Yeah, about 80, 81, somewhere around there.
Let's get together. That's been done.
Yeah.
And then coming home, of course, we didn't have the documents to get through customs. So now we've never been away from home. We're young lads. We come to the border. It's late at night. We were like, it's like James Bond now. We're hiding underneath the seat. How are we going to get through? So the driver said, I think there's some unmanned borders that we can sneak through. We were sweating because we thought we're going to get locked up here and we're going to have to call the police. Our mum and dad to come and get us out. And we missed the ferry home.
What?
Yeah.
We're terrible at being on time. So when we got to Ostend, we were waving the ferry boat goodbye. And our manager went mad. He said, one of the guys, hard.
And then he's in the heart, took his hat on.
Yeah.
But really, that wasn't our fault because it was them that should have sorted out the papers. But we did eventually find one of these open borders, you know, because you have these border checks, and then there's these unmanned, so-called, what they call unmanned borders, which we found one and finally we got through, and we managed to get onto another ferry.
That was a scary night.
Yeah, get on another ferry with the equipment, because we had a van load of equipment. And
Didn't think we'd come home.
Yeah, well, fortunately, it's not these times. They would have called you foreigner. Seriously. Coming in on one of them small boats. You wouldn't have got in this place.
Yeah.
But even Richie's going to help you there, mate. Get the French, but we can keep it there. We have things haven't changed, have they, people?
Yeah, as you said, that was before the European, before we were part of the, what's it, common market, European common market. I think where now you would be able to, obviously we've come out now, but you would have been able to go straight.
Yeah, I think when we were in the EU, it was easy for us, because I remember people, if you couldn't actually go France and then place on a temporary passport, if you're a black, you needed to have a full passport. It's really difficult back in the day. So what's interesting is that we don't hear many stories about reggae artists, or UK reggae artists I'm talking about, who've actually toured. So this is quite a revelation that's coming out, that, you know, a few of you actually have been abroad, had experiences, you know, in Europe. Tradition were telling us about their experience in Ireland, and they were there during the Troubles, when, you know, the soldiers and that. So this is quite an interesting series.
Again, you see, this is a reflection of the lack of media, especially at that time and now, to let people know. Which again, we thank you, Colin, for what you're doing, and you know, giving the platform to the bands, and you know, seeing the journey, and you know, this valuable part, I think, is a part of where the reggae is today. I'm hoping that from here, you know, we can improve the situation, and we can get, you know.
Well, we're the big people now, so you've got to pass your stories on and pass your lessons on to the next generation. It's all about doing the intergenerational thing. Stories is what we need to tell our youngsters, pass our stories on to our children and whatever, for them to learn from what we've been through. So you mentioned that, I don't understand that, you think you haven't made many tunes, you got 2 albums. As I said, some people only got one single. They lived a big life off of that one single. So 2 albums, so let's get into this Natural Love album that, in fact, is that photos on the Natural Love album? Yes. So tell us about that album, the making of the Natural Love album.
Well, we've done that with Ethnic Fight. Again, that got controversial because that was released. We weren't satisfied with the finish, because this came into the timing, as I said to you earlier, about the dispute with Laser. You know, it was around about then. We were recording the album, and we were looking forward to good things with Ethnic Fight, you know, with the album. And then, as I said, the dispute came up with Laser and Ethnic Fight, and that upset us a lot. And from there, you know, our enthusiasm dropped. We had recorded, I can't remember. We had done the basic recording for the track on the whole. The guide tracks. But we recorded let's get that the other way around. We recorded the tracks, but there were guide voices on there, and that sort of thing. So there was still more to finish. Ethnic Fight wanted to finish it, but we were disappointed with where things were now, with what happened with Runaway Love and all that. And we were reluctant to go on, and then we got into a dispute with them about you know, how things were going to go on from here. And I think through the argument, they released the album.
Without our permission, they basically just released it. Because what you're hearing is actually the demo. The music that you're listening to is demo and guide vocals.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Someone else has told me this about some of the stuff that we're listening. I think, well, I'm not going to say it here actually. But it's not an uncommon story.
No, it's not.
And so when you get into sort of dispute territory. He may even have left the label and then things get put out
Exactly.
after leaving the label. Let me just play a couple of tracks from the album.
Telephone line was the popular one.
Okay.
No, which one do you?
That's not on the ones that you sent me, but I'll play it. But remember, he's got some, is it remastered?
Yeah.
I'll play
Yeah.
telephone line from the album. It's fine. This is. And the computer decides to wake up.
What after that? Would it just give us a quick
What do you got?
try now? The album.
The album.
This song, but when I played the album for the first time,
Thank you.
I was hearing vocals that aren't in the version that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
I'm like, so this is your demo?
Yes. Yeah.
On the album?
On the album. Yes, that's a demo of the album.
Then we did a little EP afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, we did a little EP afterwards.
Yeah, we tried to readdress some of the problems that occurred there.
Yeah, because I'm like, when I was doing the show and I'm like, yeah, let me play the album.
Yeah.
And then telephone, I don't, what's this? I'm hearing voices that I wasn't familiar with. So, wow.
Yeah.
The record companies own the master tapes and everything. You know, when we're that young, we're new in the business, so we don't know. Keep hold of your master tapes.
Yeah.
But the master tapes is where really everything goes. So then, when they have the master tapes, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know, they can remix it, recut it, repress it, and they don't have to ask you because they've got it. I mean, so many artists have the same problem.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. They have the power.
Yeah. Okay, gonna play another one. Just gonna keep it moving. Who's singing lead on this one?
Jimmy, yeah.
Makes them
Mystic in the house. Let's get together. Wow. So you said Jimmy's on the
Jimmy's on
that one.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let's going to come up to date now in terms of you did other genres.
Yes, we did other genres. I don't know if you've got there. I mean, we
tell us a story.
Do some from,
yeah. What song? What's the name of it?
She Won. So what?
She Won.
Should we talk about that one? Do you want to talk about She Wants?
That's on
no,
Natural
just
Love.
yeah. There was that's on the Natural Love.
Oh, She Wants. I've got She Wants. Yeah.
Yeah, if you only knew, we were trying to do some. Yes. I mean, those what you heard were with Ethnic Fight. We done the My Sweet Girl, a couple as you said with Positive One label, and then now we were looking where we can move on. This is I think where we started linking up with Starlight Records, and we were now on to our second album. We were trying to do things that was different and innovative. So one of the tracks, and if you can play this, called If You Only Knew, that was one of the tracks we were trying to be different. Also, we were still trying to get back on that commercial angle, which we feel we left out on. So this is one of the tracks we thought what might help us to get there.
Who's on lead on this one? Sydney.
Yes.
We spent the same and have remembered well. If you only knew,
Soulful, very soulful.
what would you do? Would you feel the same way too? On the edge of the bed, the same feeling of pain. Our legs on the taking, she seems to be waiting. Footsteps up the stairs, someone's coming in. Familiar words are spoken as the door begins to open. You only knew what's going through.
Oh wow, Natural Mystic. Whoa. Whoa. I tell you what, your tracks are like, they're dreaming. You get taken somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not being funny, seriously.
Wow, yeah.
You know Runaway Love,
Yeah.
what you actually hear is only part of it. We actually did a longer album version, but Ethnic Fight wouldn't release it. We did,
Yeah.
remember we did
Yeah,
an
the extension.
instrumental where
Yeah.
we played on our instruments much
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
But Larry used to say, you know the reggae music here, you know.
Didn't understand what you were trying to do.
We wanted to expand, but
Yeah.
yeah.
we weren't allowed to.
Well, just to say some more on that journey, well, this was one, as I said, just quickly running through to take us on that sort of commercial footing that we felt we lost.
Yes.
This is now moving into the mid-80s where you had UK soul now starting to happen. And people were pressuring us and saying, well, why do you guys play soul? We didn't play soul, but we didn't think. You got to feel what you're playing. You couldn't just jump into something and play, you know. So we said, okay, we'll think about it whilst we were doing it. And then we did get around to an idea. I don't know if you got it. Yes, she wants. We got around to an idea of playing soul, and this is it. There's some more issues going on with it, but anyway, take a listen, see what you think. Around the mid-80s and that 80s vibe.
The lead guitarist?
Yeah,
okay.
Guitarist.
So I guess around this time, the cool notes were going soul as well?
Yes. Because we had prepared with them on a number of occasions.
Okay. Reggae got soul.
Yes.
Let's hear it, people. Let's hear it. Show them some love. Yeah, versatile, man. Yeah, so a number of groups were experimenting, and you know, as I said, notably the Cool Notes, who had tremendous success switching from being a reggae band to going full soul and funk. Yeah, wow.
Yes, and that's what we decided. That we wanted to try. As I say, we were a reggae band, and it was talked about, and as I said, you got to feel it, and we started to get the feel as we go along with what was going on, and so that's it. And we try to, we've got other ideas as well which hasn't been released, and we do plan. And even there's been a lot of interest in this track here. We're considering what to do with it. We are planning now to do a complimentary album, and there are new tracks which hasn't come out yet. But we're planning to do something with.
Okay.
Watch this space.
Yeah. So, because you said you're from North London, but your record company was in South London, Brixton area, whatever. Again, Cool Notes were in that area. So yeah, so you were on tours with them or playing the same gigs?
Well,
Or?
gigs, you know,
Yeah, gigs,
one-off
yeah,
show.
right, yeah, gigs. Because the Cool Notes were at the George Canning, which is now the Hootenanny.
Yeah.
So I used to watch go and watch the Cool Notes.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
when they were gigging at the well, it was called the George Canning back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, they were regulars there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no.
Yes, and they done a lot of gigs.
Yeah. So collabs. Did you ever do any collaborations? Have any females singing amongst you?
What we did, when we did the Groove Rockin' album, Bob Andy popped into the studio,
Yeah.
and while he was listening to us recording the album, he said, "Oh, I want to record with these guys." So we did. I think we did one or two tracks. One or two tracks with him. I don't think they went too well. I can't remember what happened to them. And that was through the Groove Rockin' album.
Okay.
Because in the studio, music always sounds better. So we did with that. I can't think of anybody else we worked with. It's such a long time now.
Yes, we mentioned it.
Yeah.
So we didn't. Yeah, we were supposed to get around to doing something with Louis and Mark, but that didn't, happen. And Clem Bushy, who was a producer at the time, which we still, have some contact with himself, but which was unfortunate because, as you know, she'd end up passing away. So
Yes.
There was one particular track we did.
We did work with Sister CC.
Sister CC, which that track went number
Start
one.
early and
Yes. Who is
yeah.
Sister Cece?
I think she came from Brown
Caroline
Sugar.
Catlin.
She came from Brown Sugar.
Karen Catlin.
Yeah.
So she's
she's
Shezzy's sister.
Yeah.
Simi.
Yeah, that went to number one. Then.
Yeah, Karen. Yes. Yeah. Well, Shezzy's here. Pauline from Brown Sugar. She's here in a couple of weeks' time. I actually emailed her because I needed to know just confirmation that was her sister, Sister Cece.
That was on Netflix as well.
Okay.
That was on Netflix.
Yes, alerted me. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we done the back.
You did the back. You guys.
Yeah.
Or your band.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole music was us.
The whole music we done.
I'm visualising the album there. You're mentioned on the sleeves.
Well, at some point I think we lost track with what was going on, but I think we definitely, when it first released, we were mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it.
What we're going to do, sorry, it's just we're going to put some questions, get the audience to ask you some questions because I'm mindful of the time.
Yes.
So it's question time. So if you've got some questions for the band, Natural Mystic, anyone? We're going to bring a mic to you if you let us know your name and then ask you a question.
Hi, my name's Michelle.
Hi.
Two questions actually. One, in terms of actually the label putting the demo on the album, what was the advantage for them in doing that? And then the second question is, I was quite surprised that you said you went on the uni circuit. So what was the audience like then? And what was the other acts? What type of genre of music was there with the other acts?
That's three questions.
No, two questions, because one's about the uni, one's about the album.
The reason for them putting the album out was money. They wanted to get their money back. They recorded the demo. So remember, it's small minds. Never thought about how do we invest in the band and make them bigger. So they just thought, well, let's get our money back. We've fallen out with them. Let's get the money back. With the tour.
Sorry, so at that point, were you on the label still, or
No.
you were off the label?
It was off the
So the album was released after you left the label?
Yes.
Right, okay.
So with the tour, in them days, the university crowd in those years was much more accepting reggae music than in the commercial world, because the commercial world wanted the big record companies to push them commercially, but the uni scene were into the the different genres.
Yeah,
You know, so they accepted reggae
Yes.
much more,
Yes.
and it was good. You
Yeah.
know, we toured and we had good times.
I'm just trying to think. Around that time, we had, was it Rock Against Racism? Was it around that time? So we were in alliance with the punk rockers and that scene. So we were reggae bands were already sharing the same stage with punk rockers and
That's right.
That's why you had all these other bands, you know, it's like the Specials and all these other eras and the UB40s all forming because the reggae was influencing all these things. This is why a lot of those things started to form, you know, these groups and the two-tone thing, you know, all that started to form again because of the reggae we were playing, you know. They were influenced by it and then took the idea and put their thing to it and put it out.
Absolutely. So I think memory serves me right. Just going back to when punk started and going back to the Don Letts story. So Don Letts used to go back to a club that, you know, Don Letts played at. He was a DJ. So they didn't have any punk vinyl records at the time. So Don Letts used to play them. He used to play them dub and stuff like that. So the punk guys, you know, started to get immersed in dub because they hadn't actually, at the start of the punk scene, there was no records. So you know, you gotta give Don Letts props because he was an influencer. He was an influencer in terms of influencing a lot of those punk guys to get into reggae.
Definitely.
Yeah. So have we answered your two questions, or is it the university scene? I think on the university scene they're quite open anyway. To be quite frank, I think even now you can still go on the uni scene because I know even as an artist that I don't know why a lot of UK reggae artists are not on that scene now. I've seen one or two that have got in there, but that's still a good scene to get into.
Well, you see, this again now to do with the band situation, if I could say, because the whole thing about why the 80s again was healthy is because we had a lot of coming together. You know, it's back to the unity thing. We had a lot of coming together because even as a band, it often wasn't just the band members. You had support around you, people who done special jobs, carrying speakers, you know, your roadies, you had people who were doing artwork, you know, helping you to do, you know, this is how we got people, you know, doing the artwork and then getting the credit for it. We used to even have our own photographer at one stage. We had our own PA system. We invested in buying our own PA system, had our people that worked our PA. So after a while, you know, because you know the PA system, you would hire it, perform it.
Absolutely.
Well, we used to do this and we said at one stage, well, now why should we keep paying out money to do this?
Wow.
So we had actually put the money, you know, got the funds together, bought our own PA system, had our own people that, you know, run the mixer, and that was Paul, if he's listening, Paul Lawrence, and Jimmy's brother. He was doing the mixing for us. So when we was on stage, we had our own set and mixing. And then we had our own van, you know, at some transport. We were trying to build a whole entourage at one point. You know what I mean? And at another point, we were trying to have a studio as well, you know. And we got, you know, we were just trying to see if we could save the whole of that infrastructure and recreate it, you know, which is what's missing today. Because if we had this, it would generate a lot more publicity, a lot more interest in music, and you know, things would just happen better. A lot of this is missing now, and so this is one reason for.
So when you say missing now, I had no idea you guys were doing all of that. So let's show them something. Self-contained, self-contained. Your own engineer, your own stack. That means you have to have a big kind of lorry truck. We went Great Yarmouth. We took 14. Well, the first year was 6 coaches. 7, and then the following year we took about 14 coaches. Your fans?
Our support to Great Yarmouth. We had the police, we had engaging with the police because they were shocked to see the amount. We had about, I can't remember how many people, but it was flooded, but Yarmouth was flooded with black people. Yeah, and this is
The Black Sea.
yeah, we had about 14 coaches of people plus cars. We took over the motorway. It was, yeah.
And Ocean Rooms was the first.
Ocean Rooms.
And Choice FM started.
Choice took it over.
Yeah, after
Choice
a while.
FM, remember Choice FM?
Yeah.
Choice. They started running it after us. Yeah, after we'd been there.
You paved the way for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pioneers, man.
Okay, we're going to keep it moving. Any more
Yeah.
questions, please?
Hello there, my name's Carol. Nice to meet you guys. I just want to ask you, who was the main songwriter? Was it collaboration or did you...
Everybody did. Mainly Ashley. The guitarist was mainly Ashley. He had very, very talented guy. Yeah, Ashley was on at the bottom. Now he could play the guitar, he could sing, he could play the keyboard, and he wrote a lot of songs. And Chev used to come up with the bass lines, then I would come in with the drums, and then we would get together and collaborate on the lyrics and on the melodies. And that's how most of the songs got together. I mean, if you look on the labels, if you look like on Groove Rocking, you'll see Mastin and Lindo.
Yes.
And then if you look on Summers, then on Runaway Love, you'll see Wharton, I think Lindo and Mastin on it. So it's always like a group thing,
Yes.
you know. Our rehearsals were really shows. Whenever we rehearsed, we always was like, it's like a show. We always did everything. So we knew that when we went to a show, we knew what we were doing because we used to rehearse all the time, 3 times a week. At one stage, I worked in...
Sorry, how was that for your question?
Yeah, that's great, particularly Runaway Love.
So we can't...
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you very much. I just said particularly Runaway Love. It's a beautiful record and it's just so nice to hear. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, yeah.
Okay, we've got another question.
Hello, good afternoon, and listen, respect you guys. My name is Gary Revelation Dixon from Revelation, which I think some people
Yes,
know here.
Gary, big up to you.
Yes,
Big up to you.
yes. I don't even know if we crossed paths. We probably
No, we haven't, but we're mostly familiar with Stuart.
Stuart Green.
Yes, Stuart, I know, yes.
Studio now.
Stuart, yes,
I'm
amazing.
still
Yeah, I
working.
hear you, well, I'm glad we met, because I hear about you all the time, and, you know, obviously after this, you know, we're going to get a chat, we'll get together, yeah.
One quick question, 2 quick questions. If you could change or go back and change some things, what would that be? And have you got some things lined up in the future for us? Because I've got a feeling there's some stuff coming.
Yeah. We would learn more about the business to know that, so that we can have more control. Because the thing is, once you have control, then you can decide what you do with your music. When you give away the control, then other people decide what happens to your music. That's the thing I think we would do, because we didn't know that we could do all of this stuff. And that, if we went back, that's what we would do. Get more, and be a bit more proficient on our instruments, definitely.
Yes, to add to that, it's a great question. The part that Dex just mentioned about knowing more about the business is so important, because most of us came in for the love of music, and that's where we all came from. We love music, and that's what we play. And we relied on the people in the industry to guide us through where we needed to go. And it was odd, because you had 2 types of people. You had those who were clever, but they just exploited you. And you had those people who had love for you, but they didn't have enough knowledge. And often we came across, and obviously you've been naturally attracted to the people who are showing you love. And that's often what happened, but they didn't know enough about the business. And often and then you had a situation now where the artists, which happened to us, started to try to become our own managers. So we spread out, we moved out from our instruments and tried to get to know more. But this caused a problem, because now you were moving away from the thing you love best and supposed to be doing, which is your instrument and playing it. And this is unfortunately what set back a lot of musicians. And then for the bands, on top of that, it was difficult because you had the change in the instruments, in the industry, where the music started to become computerized. So we had to cope with that. The computer way. Now you didn't need all these musicians. Now a keyboard can do everything, even virtually a voice. We only needed a singer now, really, if anything, and even voices can be reproduced to some degree. So we had to cope with that. That affected the industry. And what was the other? There was another point as well. The music. Yeah. So we had the computer change. Oh yeah, the live acts. You now had. In fact, while we were here, we were one of the first bands to do a PA. Because before then, when we started out, there wasn't any PAs where you just performed to the back of a track. You would go on stage with your instruments, and then suddenly we were approached one day. Where would you come up and do a PA? We said, what PA, what's that? This was around, I think, the mid-80s, PA, what was that? And then we said, well, you don't need to bring your instruments, we'll just give you your track, we'll play it, and you just sing onto the back of it. We thought, oh, well, that's odd. Anyway, we've done it, okay, we've done it. But then we realized that was now another thing that was setting us back, because now, you didn't need a whole band, you wouldn't be playing your instruments, and on a PA now they can get 4 or 5 artists for the same money, so, pull the same crowd, whereas you would have a band and your entourage. They didn't need to do that now, they just had 2 or 3 acts that had pulling power, and they put some on the back of the record, and that had another effect on the industry for the bands. So we had all of this to fight through, and as I said, the digital age. But in some ways we're hoping that we've pulled through, we've pulled through with that. And I think, by the way, while we're here, and if you agree with me, Gab, that I think we've done well to get through the transition from mechanical music to computer music. So, because what we're trying to do in the studio now is get back that mechanical sound through the digital sound, that warm, mellow, round sound that music used to be. That's where we're going now, where we're going to try to get that back with the digital. Yeah. So we're hoping that you will hear that, and making music. What way you also music interesting as a band is when you hear us interacting with each other on the music, because that's what we would do. You wouldn't just be playing beat, the digital stuff is just playing beats, and okay, they complement each other, but we used to talk to each other as well. He would do things on the drums that would make me respond to him. I would do things on the bass that makes the drums respond to me, and the guitar, and so like jazz does, so we used to do all that. And yes, and this would also, people don't realize, when they sit down and listen to a record, especially when you put it on the vinyl, make the track you're listening to interesting, because we are talking to each other while we're playing the music to you. So this is another thing we're hoping to bring back in what we're doing. You will start to hear this again. So hopefully the future will be bright for music again, and we'll get a big buzz, and we may get back to where we was.
Gary, we've got one more question from Gary. That was question 1.
So after all that, sorry.
Your future.
You touched on it. You touched on it. You're coming back with some new stuff. So we're looking forward to that. I think that's what we get.
Any more questions?
Hi everyone, and
hi.
Your use to sax. My question is about.
Sorry, your name, please.
My name is Osman Ekonde.
Hi.
My question is about, and you talk about when you do the tour to the European, and my question is, what give you, as in terms of emotion and the feeling, by playing in a different country than the UK or the European country, and the impact of different culture, appreciating your music, what gives you as a feeling, and when you're back in England, that have a different effect in your life performance?
Well, initially, as youngsters, we didn't know what to expect. All we knew is that we loved the music. And whenever we got on the stage, the music took over. And as the music took over, when you feel it, the audience feels it. And that's how we took it. No matter where we played, whether it's abroad or the UK, we did our best. That's why I said, in our rehearsals were always basically live shows. Because we always performed when we even rehearsed. So when we got on stage, it wasn't alien to us. And we used to react, the crowd always reacted to that. Because once they see you enjoying it, and the music's good, and they can recognize it, then it's a symbiotic relationship. And that's how we got through everything. We once tried some calypso. Remember we did a calypso, and we stunk the place out. You know, it was really bad. It wasn't our type of music. So, but whenever we played, we always had a good reception. We talked about All Nations. I remember when we first played at All Nations, our parents came with us to make sure that we was all right. But we went down a storm. I remember my father saying to me, the DJs said this little band is good because there's some big artists came to All Nations and died of death. But we came and we did great. There's a thing about black audiences, they're different to white audiences. Black audiences don't let you get away with any rubbish. They don't let you get away with it.
No prisoners.
If you're rubbish, you get a bear can licking your head. Yeah. So as people who really didn't know our instrument, only loved music, we did extremely well. And we fed off the reception we got from the audience, and we just reciprocated that. And the more that they got better, the more we got better. And that's how we coped with everything like that.
Sorry, just to do your other points about the Europe thing you were talking about. And to touch on Dick saying about black people not tolerating rubbish. There is always an element of nervousness when we go, because you're not sure, you know, every audience is to some degree fresh audience. There's always an anxiety whether you want to go down well. So there's always that. But to do with the Europe thing, I mean, at home, people are used to the music, so you're a bit more at ease when they appreciated it. But we were in a foreign land, we were young in a foreign land, we just didn't know how the music would go down, but they really, really appreciated it. Really, but at one stage we encored about 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times, which is, you know, even though we do good shows here, we never do that many encores at home, but abroad we got this, you know, and so that gave you more confidence, and it shows how far the music can be stretched when we get into our flow and stride, where we can be influenced. You know what I mean? Reggae is probably the best music in the world. And people may not know this. I don't know if it still applies now, but I was working in a studio once, and we were doing, you may know about the splicing, when you splice tapes and put it back. So I think it was with Terry at the time, I can't remember. Anyway, he had said to me, he's passed away now, he would do all the, because those days when you finished the studio, there was another, you had to get your tunes mastered, which was another process before it goes on to vinyl. So you would go to another studio, so you had a recording studio, and then you had a technical studio that prepared the music for going out. Anyway, we were working, and Terry said to me, he was a white guy, actually. He's passed away now.
Terry Newman?
Yes.
About near the Beatles, Abbey Road?
Yes, that way, that actor. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. Oh, right. Yes, Terry. Terry said to me, one day he said, reggae is the only music you can play backwards and it makes sense. And that stuck with me, even now. I don't know if it still exists, you know, other music genres is the same, but that's what he said. He said it's the only music that can play backwards that makes sense. That's one of the reasons why he appreciated it.
I didn't know he passed.
Yes. I think he had passed away now. I remember he was in a home, and I think I lost it from there. Okay. But I think he's passed away now, forgive me if he hasn't. Yes.
After Terry, then I think there was an incident, and then we couldn't go to Terry's anymore.
Yeah.
Then we went to John Hassel in Barnes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then that's right. Then he moved to acting for me.
Right.
Yeah, the other person. Yeah.
Hi.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hello. My name's Owen.
I know you.
DJ Black Association for Radio London.
Right.
Firstly, I heard your story. I listened to your story about when you got to Ethnic Fight and this fight with Laser, and how you felt at that particular time. It was disappointing for you guys. I get that. But on the other side, you won the hearts of so many people on your side. You wouldn't believe it, like presenters like myself, because you guys' music is fantastic, and we can promoting your music is promoting ourselves. So I commend you guys for that. I'll give you a round of applause for that.
Yes, well done to what you do in the business, DJ Black. Well done. You know, nice to see you down here, and you're glad for the support. Yes, thank you.
And also, last thing, the Starlight Records, you said you done.
Yes.
How many tunes did you do on Starlight?
Well, we did a Groove Rocket.
We're done.
So we did the Groove Rocking album, and we did, I think it was 3 other songs. You Were Gone, and we did a version of Culture Club.
Yeah, we was asked to do a
Culture Club.
Yeah. Version of Culture
Which one was that?
what is it called?
Come on, comedian.
You want the comedian one?
Well, the show something or something.
What was it called again?
Do you really want to?
Oh, okay.
Do you want to make?
But that's a reggae kind of.
Yes.
We didn't want to do it, but
Boy George done that. Yeah. We don't know what happened with that, but we were asked to.
it was a record label. See, when you we didn't want to do it. But never mind.
I mean, 2 things we try not to do, and this is for a lot of bands. We try not to do too much backing, because when you do that, you can become known as just being a backing band, and it can compromise your own career. So we try not to do too much of that. And also the cover version. We try to keep, we like to do original stuff and be progressive, but in this music industry, we often get asked, especially by record labels, can you cover this, can you cover that? And you could easily fall into that track where people say, oh, how come you're always just doing cover versions? So we try to not get that, go down that road.
Yeah, brilliant. Any more questions? Yeah. We're going to wrap it up soon, people.
Hello, my name's Evie. I'm sorry, I was late coming here, so I didn't really actually hear everything that you said about your story. But I'd just like to ask, did you do anything in Japan? Because Japan absolutely loves lovers rock, as well as, will you be going there again? Because, it's not there. They're going to love lovers rock, it's going to live forever. It's beautiful.
Yeah, just before I pass it to my colleague. No, we haven't, but it was on the cards. But saying that, we've recently had interest in some of our material from China.
Oh, wow.
Yes, China. Yeah, we were going to...
we were a bit too early for Japan. When Japan started to take off, we were like on our own, and so we didn't have the management to guide us through there, the infrastructure. I mean, I know that Janet Kay is killing Japan, and we are definitely going to do that in the future. Because we've got like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 albums worth of songs that have been recorded that we haven't really released yet.
Okay.
They might sound dated. We would have to redo them, I suppose, go back in the studio and then push them out. So definitely, future is always bright. And you know what I mean? Music is like a drug. Once it gets into your system, it never leaves. And people to the day you die, you always be writing. And we're always listening to different genres, and we're always trying to incorporate it into our music, and we will continue to do that. I mean, there's only 2 of us here, but there's really about 6 of us, and some of us are doing solo stuff. I mean, I've got my own home studio, Chevi's working on his new studio. Ashley's got his own studio. So we're all kind of bringing that melting pot of different genres together to form like one song and one mesh of music. So definitely the future is something that we all going to look forward to. And now that reggae is more widely accepted everywhere, we can push it all around the world. You know, it's not just regarded as Jamaican music. It's not just Jamaican, it's everywhere. So then there's an opportunity for us.
Yeah. Just Ashley, you say Ashley. Did he do some work with Lindo Lewis?
Yes,
Coffee Records?
Yes, that's right.
Best Years of Our Life.
Yeah.
Is that one of his
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we worked with him on that.
Year,
Yeah.
That was one of my singles of the month.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yes, we had a number one for a couple of yes, we were pushing there on that one.
Okay.
Yes, so again work is going on for following that up as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So I forgot. Yeah, Colin, you were on that.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, we got another question.
Greetings. Question.
Name first.
Yes, please. King Genius, yeah?
Okay.
King.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're more than that, King Genius. Come on, to give us the whole shebang.
Okay, radio presenter, producer, a musician myself. What I've found is an issue is when artists now that I've been involved with and I've interviewed, etc., there's an issue that keeps on coming up, and that's royalties.
Yeah.
When you was with the companies mentioned, did you actually claim royalties, or did they claim the royalties for you and didn't give you nothing? What was the situation around that?
We didn't get any royalties.
Okay, so
what monies we did, what small monies we got, we had to really fight to get that. And even then, nothing really went into our pockets. We had to, to keep us going. Money came in and it just added. We just used it for expenses to cover what we had to do, whether it's instruments or equipment, wherever we were done. But what little we got, we had to fight for it. But that is a big problem.
Okay.
You see, we really never got legal advice. If you got legal advice, then they would look for a contract and say, this ain't no good. Section A, B is not going to suit you. But we never had really the guidance to say, you need legal advice. I mean, when we signed Runaway Love, we signed a contract and we were like over the moon. We just signed a contract for a record label. Did we read it? Even reading it, did we know what we were reading? Did we know that 15% went to the record company and everything else went to the record company and nothing came to us? And we never controlled the money. The record company pressed it, promoted it, got the money, spent the money, and then decided to give the artists when they wanted to give us. And, we're not heavy, we're not the mafia. We never send someone around, give me money, where's my money there? So it's always difficult, which is why I'm driving a Mini now.
A vintage one.
They were good cars.
Time, you know my mouth. Last one. You know my mouth.
Last question.
One more.
Sorry, before that, then we're going to
you
give
know
you
my
the
mouth.
opportunity to take photos with the artist.
You know my mouth.
Hi, I'm Ladies Man.
Hi.
You look good, innit?
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, the question I've got asked, I've got someone from America adding up, and she did ask us to ask you your heritage.
Okay.
Because you know the Americans have got a different language to us, eh?
You missed it earlier. I was born in Jamaica. Jamaican family. Chevi was born here, but with Jamaican family. We really, people used to think we were cousins at one stage. We were so close. But it's Jamaican.
Okay. So not blood cousins, you're just close cousins.
Close.
Okay, the last question quickly is what advice would you give? Because we're working with some new upcoming artists at the moment. What advice would you give them today, considering your experience and what you guys went through?
Learn the business.
Learn the business.
Learn the business. Yeah, learn the business so that no one can fool you. No one can come in and tell you this is this and you don't know it. If you can, get mentors, get mentored and get legal advice, you know, because you can get free legal advice now if you can.
Well, I know about the music union.
Yeah.
I always try to direct them.
Yeah, music union is brilliant for that. And one thing, sign up to PRS. Sign up to PRS, and PRS will make sure you get your royalties. I've got a friend who's a soul guy, Steve Carmichael, and one day I was with him in the studio. He said, Rob, look at this check, $2,000. So where you get that from? He said, oh, that's from Japan. EMI just sent me a royalties check. So make sure you sign up to PRS. And PRS, they'll do all the work for you. I mean, years ago, we had to go to record companies to do all that. But nowadays, with everything opening up so much, go on the internet, do your research. That's what I will tell the youngsters. Do that now, and you'll be okay.
Final question.
Finally, guys, my name is Gloria.
Hi, Gloria.
I just want to know, is any of your children or grandchildren following in your footsteps and becoming musicians?
None of mine. Not yet. My grandchildren, I'm teaching them how to play the drums. I've got a drum set up in my bedroom in the corner, so whenever he comes around, I'm sitting down on the stool and getting used to playing with the sticks, you know?
Hand it on.
Yeah, but I've had mainly girls, so girls are hard. They're not like boys, but they're beautiful.
I just say, the good thing is in my family, there's an interest, still a good interest in music. And obviously now with the media as it is, there's interest in other aspects of it, like videoing and all that. So that's for me the side of it where I've got, you know, the smaller ones interested in the media side, which is good because as we go forward, media now is a lot to do with what we're doing, so that's going to play a part. So yeah, so there's, you know, there's still something good may come out of it. Yeah, thank you for your question.
Okay then, we're going to thank you, show some love to Natural Mystic, thank you for coming.
Anna.
Yeah, so I'm going to end it with a big tune, Runaway Love, and then we'll invite you to come and take some photos.
And on that note, and also we've got raffle tickets.
Oh yes, the raffle.
Thank you. Also for the latecomers, if you want toilet, outside, to the right, all the way down, or this is a new one, so I want to share this important, very information. Toilet, out on the right, up on the right. Is that correct? Left, then right. So you take a left, then you take a right. That's for the toilet. Raffle tickets, over there. Support the cause. Alright? You know the order. For taking pictures, to get the line up and we get ready for take a picture. Order.